The deep space sensors of the Carvax Empire screamed with warning lights. A massive object had appeared at the edge of their controlled star system. At first, the officers thought it was a comet or a dead moon drifting off course, but the shape was wrong. Too sharp, too clean, too artificial. Scan it again, Commander Threx ordered. His four eyes narrowed as data rushed across the screen. The ship was huge, larger than any cruiser in the Carvax fleet. Its dark hull reflected the red glow of the nearby nebula. Strange symbols were carved into its metal skin. The engines burned, bright red like angry stars. "It's human," one officer whispered. The bridge went silent. Humans were a legend among the stars, a young species from a small blue planet. They were not supposed to have ships like this. Not warships of this size, not battlecruisers. They were explorers, another officer said. Weak, curious, easy to control. Threx slammed his clod, hand on the console. That was 50 cycles ago. Times change. The sensor officer looked pale. "Commander, the ship is powering weapons." Panic spread across the bridge. Carvax ships were built for speed, not heavy combat. Their weapons were strong, but nothing like what this human monster might carry. "Send a message," Threx ordered. "Demand their surrender." A signal was transmitted. "This is Commander Threx of the Carvax Empire. You have entered restricted space. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." The reply came after a short pause. A calm human voice filled the bridge. "This is Captain Elias Carter of the United Earth Battlecruiser Resolute. We are on a rescue mission. Do not interfere." Threx laughed, trying to hide his fear. A rescue mission in our space. Bold for such a small race. He turned to his officers. "Prepare attack formation. If they fire, we fire back." The Resolute did not move. It simply floated in space, silent and steady. But the energy readings were rising fast. On board the Resolute, Captain Carter stood on the command deck. He was tall, with tired eyes and a calm face. His crew waited for orders. "They won't let us pass," the first officer said. "Carvax never do." Carter nodded. "I know." On the main screen, a map showed a small mining station deeper in the system. That was their target. A human research team had gone silent there 3 days ago. "They took our people," Carter said. "We're bringing them home, even if it starts a war." Someone asked quietly. Carter looked around at his crew. "We didn't start this, but we will finish it." Back on the Carvax bridge, Threx saw the human ship charge its main cannons. "Fire!" he shouted. Blue energy bolts shot toward the Resolute. The human ship did not dodge. Instead, a glowing shield formed around it. The Carvax fire slammed into it and disappeared like rain on stone. The bridge crew stared in shock. "Impossible." An officer whispered. Captain Carter watched as the enemy fire faded. "Return fire." One warning shot. The Resolute fired a single beam. It cut through space and struck the nearest Carvax cruiser. The ship exploded in seconds. No survivors. Silence filled both sides. Threx felt cold fear grip his heart. He had never seen power like that. "This is your last warning," Carter's voice said. "Stand down. We do not want to fight." Threx knew he had made a mistake. Humans were no longer weak. They had grown strong in secret. Too strong. But pride was stronger than fear. "All ships," Threx ordered, his voice shaking. "Attack at full power." The Carvax fleet rushed forward, firing everything they had. The Resolute moved for the first time. It accelerated like a falling star, weaving through enemy fire. Human turrets rotated and locked on targets. One by one, Carvax ships were destroyed. Explosions lit up the dark space. On the Resolute, alarms stayed quiet. Their shields held strong. "Enemy fleet breaking," the tactical officer said. "They're retreating." Captain Carter watched the burning wrecks on the screen. "Let them run." The Carvax ships fled in panic. Commander Threx ordered full retreat. His empire's pride shattered. "This changes everything," he whispered. "Humans are no longer small." As the last enemy ship disappeared, the Resolute continued forward, course set to mining station. Carter said, "Prepare boarding teams." His crew moved fast. No one cheered. No one smiled. They knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere deep in enemy space, humans were prisoners, and the galaxy had just learned one simple truth. When humans fight, they fight to protect their own. The Resolute moved through the silent star system, passing broken enemy ships and drifting metal debris. The red nebula faded behind them as they approached the mining station. The station looked damaged. One side was dark, and parts of its structure were torn open. No lights, no signals, life signs. Captain Carter asked. The sensor officer shook his head. Weak readings, mostly Carvax, but there are humans inside. Carter's jaw tightened. Launch boarding teams. 3 shuttles left the Resolute and flew toward the station. Each carried armed Marines in heavy suits. Their faces were calm, but their eyes showed focus. Inside Shuttle 1, Sergeant Miles checked his rifle. Remember, we are here to rescue. Only fire if needed. The team nodded. The shuttle locked onto the station and cut through an airlock. Smoke filled the hallway. Burn marks covered the walls. Broken tools floated in zero gravity. Move slow, Miles whispered. They floated. Inside, boots magnetizing to the floor. Suddenly, a weak human voice echoed. Help, please. They followed the sound and found a woman trapped under a fallen beam. Her face was pale. Blood floated around her arm. Miles rushed forward. You're safe now. They lifted the beam and helped her up. Where are the others? Miles asked. Carvax soldiers took them to the core level, she said. They were testing us. Her eyes filled with tears. They killed the already. Miles clenched his fist. Not anymore. On the Resolute, Captain Carter watched. The body cams sent back up to core level. He ordered, no more delays. The Marines moved deeper into the station. They found locked doors and broken security panels. At the core level, Carvax guards stood around a group of human prisoners. The humans were tired, weak, and injured. One guard laughed. These creatures are tough, but they break like all others. Suddenly, the lights went out. Red emergency lights turned on. Before the Carvax could react, human Marines dropped from above. Hands up, Miles shouted. The guards reached for weapons. Big mistake. The Marines fired with perfect aim. The Carvax fell. In seconds, the humans were freed. One prisoner looked up. You came for us, Miles smiled. Always. While the rescue continued, Commander Threx watched from his flagship. He had followed the human ship secretly. His hands shook. They are not running, an officer said. They are attacking. The station. Threx felt fear like never before. Open channel. The screen showed Captain Carter. You again, Carter said calmly. Why? Threx asked. Why risk war for a few lives? Carter's eyes burned with anger. Because they are ours, and no one touches our people. Threx tried to stay strong. You cannot fight the whole empire. Carter leaned forward. We don't need to. We only need to fight those who cross the line. The signal cut. Threx slammed his fist. Prepare all weapons. Destroy that station. Kill them all. Some officers hesitated. But sir, our troops are still inside. I don't care. Threx roared. Fire. On the Resolute. Alarms exploded, enemy weapons charging. The tactical officer shouted. They're going to destroy the station. Someone cried. Carter acted instantly. Shields up. Pull all teams back now. The Marines ran. Shuttles rushed back. Huge energy beams fired from Threx's fleet toward the station. Carter turned the Resolute and pushed full power. The massive ship moved between the station and the enemy fired. The beams hit the Resolute shields. The whole ship shook, shields at 60%. An officer shouted. Double quotes, hold position. Carter ordered. Another wave hit. Shields at 30%. The crew held their breath. Shuttle 1 docked. Boarding team secure. Miles reported. Good. Carter said. Now we teach them a lesson. The Resolute powered its main cannons. Threx watched in horror. They're charging again. Carter spoke through the open channel. You crossed the line. The Resolute fired. A massive blast hit Threx's flagship. Its shields collapsed. The hull cracked open. Threx was thrown to the floor. Fire filled the bridge. Retreat. He screamed. All ships retreat. The Carvax fleet scattered. The station was safe. Carter watched the enemy run again. Set course home, he said. The rescued humans cheered and cried. Miles placed a hand on one survivor's shoulder. You're coming home. Carter looked at the stars ahead. This war isn't over, he said quietly, but now they know. Humans do not abandon their own, and anyone who tries will pay the price. The Resolute moved through open space, far from enemy territory. Inside the medical bay, rescued humans rested on beds. Doctors worked fast. Some cried, some smiled. All were alive. Captain Carter walked between them. You're safe now, he said softly. You're home. One scientist grabbed his hand. We thought no one would come. Carter shook his head. We always come. On the bridge, the crew watched star maps. Enemy signals followed them at a distance. They are not attacking, the sensor officer said. They're just watching. Carter knew why Dot feared Dot on the damaged Carvex flagship. Commander Threx sat alone. The bridge was burned. Dead bodies covered the floor. His empire had never faced defeat like this. They destroyed us, he whispered. An officer approached slowly. Sir, the council demands answers. Threx closed his eyes. Tell them the truth. Humans are not weak. They are protectors, and they never forgive. Days later, the Carvex Council met. Leaders argued loudly. They attacked our fleet. They destroyed our ships. They humiliated us. Threx stepped forward. No, we did this. We kidnapped their people. We started the war. Silence filled the hall. They came for rescue. Threx continued, not conquest. But we answered with weapons. One leader asked, what do we do now? Threx bowed his head. We make peace, or we face extinction. Back on Earth, the Resolute landed to loud cheers. Families ran to hug their loved ones. Tears fell everywhere. Sergeant Miles watched with a smile. Worth it. Carter nodded. Every life. News spread fast across the galaxy. Humans were no longer ignored. Other empires sent messages. Some offered peace. Some asked for alliance. Some warned each other. Do not touch human colonies. They will come. They will fight. Carter stood before the United Earth Council. You avoided a big war, one leader said. For now. Carter replied. But they learned something important. What? That humans don't run. Across space, small human fleets began to grow. New ships, stronger shields, smarter weapons. But humans did not attack. They only defended. Months later, a small Carvex ship arrived near Earth. Message incoming, an officer said. Carter appeared on screen. Commander Threx bowed deeply. I came to apologize, Threx said, and to return something. A cargo pod opened. Inside were stolen human items, tools, data, personal things. We were wrong, Threx said, and we accept the price. Carter studied him. Why trust us now? Threx answered honestly, because you saved your people instead of killing mine. Carter was silent. Then he smiled slightly. Welcome to peace. The galaxy watched. A former enemy became an ally, and a new rule spread among the stars. Never underestimate humans, because when they detect danger, they don't panic. They prepare. They protect. They strike. Not for power. Not for land. But for their own. And that is what truly scares the galaxy.